So you know those really sweet light leak kind of transitions or light leak effects that you see on music videos and cinematic sequences and reels and stuff? Well, today we're going to be shooting our own and showing how they can be used in an edit. So let's go. Okay, time to go and get some lights, I think. And there they are. Yeah, I know I shouldn't leave lights and gear in the car, but... So the gear that I'm going to be using for this is a camera. This goes without saying, obviously. The only things that I think are pretty essential for doing this kind of work is that it can at least shoot 4K, if not more, and it can record at some higher bit rates. I want to export these assets at least ProRes 422, so I'm going to be shooting everything in 12-bit RAW today, so I have full control over these assets in post. So that's basically a very long-winded way of saying that I'm going to be using my little Blackmagic kit. Some high output tungsten lights. The fact that these are tungsten is important, I think. Some blackout curtains or flags just to block out the natural light that we've got coming in the room, and a variety of different lenses to experiment with. This is kind of one of those ones where you're never really going to get the same result twice, so experimenting with some different lenses will hopefully give us some really interesting and unique assets to play with. Okay, so we're going to do some tests with just one light. Then if we need a second light on the other side, we'll put one in. Oh, fucking, that's getting hot in here. So I'm going to be using this little trick or technique, whatever you want to call it, called lens whacking. So that's basically where you hold the lens and the camera body separately. And I don't think there's really a legit technique for this, but what you really want to do is to kind of use your hand to kind of block light from coming into the sensor from behind the lens, but those light leaks are going to be caused by the light going into the camera sensor, not through the lens. So that's what's really going to give us those kind of dream-like looks. You can use this technique for shooting, just regular shooting, not against a black backdrop, and you can kind of achieve these really cool dream sequences. Obviously today, for the sake of shooting assets, we're going to be shooting against a black backdrop. Let's give this a go. I'm using a light that's got barn doors on because I don't want any light to go on the backdrop. I'm going to add a second light in, and hopefully we should get some more interesting light leaks. And I've also got an array of vintage lenses that I'm going to try out, and we'll see if we get any cool results. I feel like I need sunglasses for this light. Now, I'm fully aware that I'm probably triggering a few people by doing this, but now the real fun starts because we're going to move on to some vintage lenses. Right, now it's time to tidy up. So now we're moving on to editing. And to be honest, I was going to show this process in more sort of fine detail, but to be totally straight up with you, this process is really boring. Maybe that's not the right way to put it. Not engaging is probably a better way to put it, to actually watch someone do this. But basically what I'm doing is I'm going through each clip individually, and there were quite a few. I'm basically adjusting the levels, and the main thing is really making sure that the black levels are true blacks, because this whole principle basically hinges on the fact that you can take these assets, drop them on your footage, and change the blending mode to something like screen. And that means that the black parts of the image will then become transparent. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick demo on how this is going to work. So let's get DaVinci Resolve open. Boom. Left, right, left, right. Okay, cool. So we've got DaVinci Resolve open. So I'm just going to be on my laptop right now. So yeah, I know I've got untitled project because I'm an incompetent bastard, but there we go. As you can see, I've got a couple of clips on the timeline. One is just some stock footage of a forest, and then we go to a ladybird. Doesn't really make much sense, but there we are. So what I've got is I've got a sort of pre-selected part of some of the assets that we shot. This one I really like. This is Light Leak 1. All we're going to do is just drag and drop that onto our footage. Let's get rid of that. So all I'm going to do is just drag and drop that on the footage. We obviously do not need sound or this. So I'm going to be using this as sort of like a transition, but I want this to be really subtle. So what I'm going to do is just play through this. First of all, you can see that this doesn't fill the frame. In terms of resolution, it does, because I shot these at DCI 4K, but it's just that DaVinci Resolve is sort of basically making sure that none of the video goes outside of the frame. So I'm just going to increase that. So what we want to do is just click on the clip and go down to our compositing mode. And we want to change this to screen. And now you can see that the black parts have now become transparent. So if we just play through this, see we have a nice little light leak transition. And it's as simple as that. Woo. If you want to purchase any of the assets that I made in this video, I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can pick those up. As you can see, I'm not working in some fancy studio, I'm just in my home office. So if you could pick one of those up, that would be much appreciated. Even if you don't want to, just making it this far into the video is highly appreciated. So thank you. Hopefully you can get some really interesting results. And the cool thing is that you're never really going to get the same result twice, because of how imperfect this process is. But I kind of think that that's part of the beauty of it. If you wanted to try these assets on your own footage yourself, then I'll leave a link in the description to where you can purchase the assets that I made in this video. Hello everybody, how's it going? If you like this video, then don't forget to give it a like. It really does help to beat the YouTube algorithm. If you're new to the channel, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated with all of the content being released on this channel. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.